So, how's it going, everyone? Today's episode of It's Not That Bad Movie Reviews, episode 3.
Sure.
Ah, shoot. Episode 3.
3 or 4.
Yeah, well, we'll get it right the next time.
Yeah.
Episode 3. Today we're reviewing Shark Night, which this was Grant's idea, I want to add.
Yep, it was my idea. I love this movie. And last time we started during the quarantine, and now we're doing it during quarantine and rioting.
Yes, we are. So, I mean, it's going downhill from here, so.
It's going downhill, but we got these movies to look forward to.
Oh, boy. But you know what? I'll give it to you. This one wasn't that bad, in my opinion. Better than freaking Ghost of Mars. I mean.
Better than fucking Hellboy.
Listen.
But they'll have to wait till next one for that.
All right, so just to kind of give everyone an idea here, so we have a budget of $25 million. And actually, they made money here. So box office, $41.4 million. Which I could have sworn they lost money on this one, but hey, I guess I was wrong.
It's a low-budget horror movie. They're going to make money somehow.
Yeah, but, jeez. I was just saying, with the amount of CGI and whatnot thrown in there, I mean.
Very little. If you paid attention, there's not a lot.
Other than the sharks?
Yeah, and they're very small portions of the movie.
Okay. So, as we were talking about before, we have our star-studded cast of Sarah Paxton, Dustin McGillen, and I want to add this one, Joel David Moore, who I finally figured out was in one of my favorite movies. Which, by the way, I thought he was in Scooby-Doo. I thought he was Shaggy at first.
No, you're thinking of Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, see, that's where I messed up.
Yeah, no, that'd be a real star. But Joel David Moore, he's got Avatar under his belt, Dodgeball,
I was going to say my favorite Dodgeball.
And then you got Final Girl, Hatchet, bunch of shitty horror movies that are somehow good.
But as far as the rest of the cast goes, I didn't really...
Really? You don't know Sarah Paxton?
Not a big movie buff.
Last House on the Left?
You know what?
You've never seen Aquamarine?
I've not seen Aquamarine.
It's a shitty movie where she plays a mermaid. How can you not see it?
Is this going to be on a future episode or what?
No, probably not. It was pretty bad. Unless you like mermaid love stories, in which case it's pretty good.
What, do you think I'm some sort of freak or something?
Yeah.
Mermaid love stories?
I mean, hey, mermaid top half or bottom half?
I'll go top half.
Top half fish. Fucking a fish head.
Anyways, mind your business.
Mind your business. So who's we got? Anybody else important that I'm? Oh yeah, the sheriff. What was the sheriff's name again?
That's what I need to look.
He was Saban.
Donald Logue.
Donald Logue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the guy who I was telling you was in. What was the movie I was telling you he was in? Oh, he was in Ghost Rider. He was in
Ghost Rider. See, I'm seeing Sons of Anarchy, Vikings.
Yeah, I don't know about all those.
Law and Order.
Yep, haven't seen any of those.
But Ghost Rider, are you sure about that?
Yeah, he was the engineer in Ghost Rider. He was Nick Cage's friend.
See, that's what I need to figure out here. But yeah, you know what? Confirmed. I just see it right here.
And what was the one that I
co-starred with Nicolas Cage in Ghost Rider? What's up?
What was the one that I was texting you about?
Well, there's Max Payne.
Nah, I don't know those.
Zodiac. The one you texted me about, I could pull it up, but
all right. Well,
anyways, like I just wanted to say though, I mean, for me not really knowing anyone except Joel David Moore, I mean, I didn't know this was such a hot cast here. Who did you find?
Well, I'm trying to find up the movie that I texted you about that he was in because that was one that like surprised me that I remembered. Oh, he was in Blade. That's it.
Blade.
Yeah, he was the guy in the beginning of the nightclub in Blade. And, best opening to any vampire movie that I can remember. Like, where the shower, like, sprays blood over everybody and then Blade comes in and kills everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was, like, the main vampire in that nightclub.
Yeah. So, anyways, I guess... See, now I feel bad because when I first watched the movie, I went, what a piece of junk. Bunch of no-names, Now I'm over here like, wow, it's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, this guy's pretty good. And then, of course, Dennis.
Dennis, yes.
Was in, what was it?
Chris
The OC?
Carmack.
Yeah, he was in the OC or the
Grey's
90210,
Anatomy,
something like that.
Nashville.
Yeah, I recognized him from like shitty TV shows,
Mm-hmm.
and then Red probably nothing.
It says he also appeared in the Butterfly Effect 3, which I want to add. I don't think I've seen 2 or 3.
I saw 2.
Good?
Nope, should have stopped after 1.
Damn it. I'll say 1 was pretty dang good.
1 was good, 2 was terrible.
Same cast?
No,
Okay.
God no.
Okay, I get.
It's an entirely different person who has all the same powers as Ashton Kutcher to like go back in time, and I think one of them like they had to be in a bath to do it. It was weird. There's like 4 butterfly effects, I'm pretty sure.
Ah, well.
It's bad. I don't remember exactly details because I tried to purge it from my memory. It's bad.
Yeah. Well, regardless, I guess we'll hop into this one here. So, I guess you want me to go ahead start the our great opening act for Shark Act or Shark Act, Shark Night.
Yeah, that's staying in.
Bastard.
Hopping straight in. There we go.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we start with title sequence, sharks, swimming around in some blood. They
Yep.
got the blood lit scenes where sharks are like going from place to place. They see like somebody's legs. I think you see them like eating fish and sometimes attacking humans.
Yeah.
But then after that, we find a girl. This was just a really weird directing or acting choice, I think.
Well, I was gonna say we have our standard ass shot from the water.
Well, yeah, it was an ass shot for water. But did you notice that she was just kind of jiggling and bouncing in the same
Yeah,
spot?
I did notice that.
She was just like la 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 la, like slapping the water and shit.
Yep.
It's like,
So I said,
who the fuck does that?
your standard, like you're kind of jumping up and down,
Yeah,
Ma-
she was like jumping up and down, just hot girl in a
making them cheeks jump. You
a
know, what I'm saying?
water-based movie. Yeah, making them cheeks jump, clapping them cheeks.
To where I thought, obviously, they make it look like a shark's about to come and eat her, and then her boyfriend picks her up and
Yeah, puts her. Do you like put her on his shoulders?
Yeah.
And then immediately steals her top, and
Yup.
then before you get any boob, just immediately puts it back on.
basically,
So,
basically from what I saw, he was just being an asshole, and she's like, stop, and he's like, nah, go get your top. I'm like, oh,
For me, kind of subverted your kind of expectation that it's going to be like another horror movie where it's just girl topless and stuff like that, but they never show it,
yeah,
which usually that's kind of downfall of like horror movies like Piranha 3D and all that stuff where you get just nothing but nude college girls, which
Yes.
are really like 30-year-old models.
which, like we talked about beforehand, I thought this was gonna be almost like a Piranha type movie, but
Thankfully not.
I was happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Although Piranha, it has its moments. It has its like crazy shit's going on moments.
Yeah. But anyways, we cut to her boyfriend, which I don't think we get a name for anyone really, but he
Yeah,
gets out of the
none.
water to go to his van or RV, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's like one of those super old Airstreams, like those old RVs.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
you know the name of it. Yeah, to where unfortunately, our
Oh, and also, how far away is this?
how
'Cause
far away is?
The RV or the trailer, he goes like 20 feet away and is just immediately death.
He's probably inside, using the shooter. I don't know.
Because like 20 feet away, she gets attacked by a shark and just screaming for help.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. You
Yeah.
don't hear him be like, "Oh my God, Jesse, how the fuck is this happening?" Whatever.
Yeah.
But she attempts to climb out onto this like buoy thing, immediately gets dragged back
Yeah,
under.
ripped back into the water. I was like, oh son, I
Yep.
thought she was about to escape.
Yep.
Nah.
Not here. Or at least like, I thought she was gonna make like halfway up the ladder and then get like jump shark attacked or something like that, which you don't get until later, unfortunately.
Which, by the way, was total bullshit. I want to add.
Oh, you mean the later part where that
Yeah.
happens? Yeah.
Come on.
It was bullshit. But she gets killed. Title sequence, that's done. And then now we transition over to Nick. No, it's first Malik walking around slapping his papers in his hand at the college.
Yep.
And
To
then,
where Gordon and Nick, well, Gordon's playing video games. Nick is studying for med school.
Yeah,
Kind of
Go-
gives us our first introduction to these characters.
yeah, Gordon's playing the video games, and it's kind of like the horror movie cliche of the one roommate who's like a stoner playing video games, like not wanting to study at all,
Yep.
and the other one who's super into studying.
Like, yo, bro, can you shut up? I'm trying to study.
Yep. And then I thought at first, I gotta say, they pleasantly surprised me because I forgot before I watched this movie again. I thought that Malik was gonna be like, Nick, you're doing all my test and homework for me. Like, you fucked me on this or something like that. But it was just that he was tutoring him.
Yeah. To where I thought that was great, where he came in and said, I told you I need to pass my classes. And what would he say? Well, I forgot what the zip code was, but he's like, I don't want to go back to the 602 or whatever it was. Like, do you know what happens there?
Yeah, it's like the 402, 419 or whatever it was.
Wherever he's from. And, Nick's obviously shitting his pants going, what the, I thought I was doing good work. I thought I was helping you. And
Gordon's like in the background like, yeah, Nick, you don't want him to go back to the 402, don't you? Like egging him on.
Come on, man, you knew I needed a C to keep my scholarship? And without my ride, I'm ghost. No degree. And I'm back living in the 410. And I told you about the 410.
He did tell you about the 410.
Thanks, Gordon.
But with that, like, also, Malik was like saying how he has to get a C to maintain his scholarship and stuff.
Yep.
But a little bit later on, they say that he's like getting ready to get drafted.
top 10 pick, yeah.
Yeah. So does it not really matter then?
Now you're asking the wrong person when it comes to
Or maybe he's
if
like-
grades matter to get drafted. I mean,
Or maybe they're like sophomores and they have a couple more years to go. And
could be, yeah. Could be.
yeah, but then with that, basically this starts a trend. I don't know if you noticed it, of Nick getting faked out. Like Nick throughout this entire movie just gets faked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Sarah will do it to him, Malik, everybody just like says one thing and then it's like, oh, I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah. Playing him for a fool.
Oh, and I don't know if you caught it. So when Gordon was trying to get Nick to come over and play video games with him, they're playing Halo.
Yeah.
And Gordon says, well, I just signed you in and you're going to start losing gamer points.
Put the books down and relax for a second.
Look, I can't relax, Gordon, all right? Because not all of us are on the 7-year graduation program.
Not really hearing you because I just logged you in and you're losing gamer points.
Dude, it took me 6 months to get those
Yes,
points.
it did. Get involved. Hey, boys, you shit the bed. I got a new partner who actually knows how to plank.
So long,
I saw that. Yeah.
And I was just like, ugh.
Now, that was a point I was going to ignore because I'm just like, once again, I'm thinking, yeah, some cheap movie. Yeah, whatever. They didn't even. I don't care.
I know why it happened, though. Do you?
No.
So basically, whenever you see a TV in any movie, they're just playing a green screen on that TV. They'll put in whatever they want later. They probably were looking for sponsorships of what game to put on there, or they were just going to make up their own CGI like bullshit game.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they probably got Halo to send them a couple of bucks to be the game in the movie. So they probably just put super generic gamer terms to kind of hype it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But with that, when they talk about so Malik now invites Gordon and Nick to go ahead and go to Sarah's lake house. So it's super weird editing. They cut to Sarah working out. She doesn't have any exposition. She doesn't say a goddamn word. It's just to show off her ass.
I guess, but it sounded so hype. By the way, I want to go back to Malik. So we're going to Sarah Palsky is her name in the movie.
Yeah, Sarah Palsky.
Sarah Palsky. We're going to Sarah Palsky's lake and kind of, I guess. See, when I thought that, I'm thinking, okay, this is gonna be some rager, some popular girl who, I guess, throws all these parties. But it was only 5 or 6 of them that ended up going.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it was 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 6 people all just hanging out on a lake.
Yeah.
Maybe they were planning on inviting people later or like going to parties while they were there.
Yeah.
But when they say like Sarah Palsky's house, like you think, oh, this is like something where people do every year. They go back. She hasn't been back to her house in 3 years.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So
why is this a big deal?
small detail to me, but yeah, I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, I guess in the beginning it just kind of sets up the expectation that it's going to be like a rager, like everybody partying, but it's doesn't really mean
little kickback, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we cut to her, getting off the treadmill, just kind of, I guess. I don't know. There wasn't really much to it. She gets off the treadmill and
it was a super weird editing choice just to kind of kick off going into other characters. And then we cut over to Sarah's friends. So the first one, Beth, is the one driving a car. And then she gets a call or calls Maya, who's getting an ass tattoo. But you don't know that at first. She's like, I don't even know this guy's name. And you think like, oh, she's about to like have sex with some random dude. And then goes to a tattoo artist. She's like, okay, do me. And it's like, okay, like I get it. you're a
Like,
horror movie
yeah.
teen who's supposed to be getting fucked in the ass or something, but it's just weird.
Who's getting fucked in the ass? What?
It's a fucking play on words, whatever.
Oh, okay.
Or not play on words, a expression.
I've never heard that expression before.
All right, I don't fucking know. I'll probably cut this out so I don't look like a retard. Okay.
It stays anyway.
It probably stays. All right. Well, anyway, so after we get introduced to everybody, so just as a little quick run through, one more. We go ahead and cut over to an art class where a girl is tracing a nude model. The nude model is further introduced as Blake.
Yep.
So as of right now, we got Blake, the male model for the art class. We got Nick, the nerd. We got Gordon, kind of like the laid-back stoner guy. Malik, the athlete. Sarah, the hot girl who everybody just kind of barely knows. Like, as is explained, like, they've been friends for 3 years, but they don't really know much about her.
Seems like the rich, popular girl in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. So then we got Beth and Maya. And Maya is also known as, Malik's girlfriend, who he wishes to make his fiance.
Yep.
Yep. So then after they all meet each other, they start getting packed into an SUV. And the best fake out of the movie, I would say, is Sarah goes to the back where Gordon and Nick are huddled together in the trunk of the SUV. And then she's like, "You guys got any room?" They hurry to make room, thinking, "Oh, this hot girl's going to sit in the back of us." And then Sherman comes up and jumps in.
Good old Sherman.
Sherman the little dog.
Sherman the lab, yeah.
Yeah, and then as soon as that happens, they're like, all like downtrodden, like, "Aw."
Well, that's not what we meant.
Hey,
Sarah.
Room for one more?
yeah, totally. If you just wanna, right there's probably no problem.
Cool. Good boy.
Oh.
You guys have fun back
Not,
there.
not quite what we had in mind there, but
So after that, they go ahead and get on the road. They have a montage that doesn't really fit the movie. Like, the music just kind of seemed off for some reason. But super quick montage. They go to the bake shop. And you want to outline the bake shop because it's one of the creepier parts of the movie.
Yeah, so I guess the girls, they go use the bathroom, to
But-
which...
You may have this point as well. Have you ever seen a bathroom with no doors?
Well, I noticed, yeah, the toilet didn't have a door on it, yeah.
Yeah, none of the toilets had any
They're
doors
talking,
on.
and she just kind of is about to use it while the other girl's looking in the mirror right next to her, and I'm like, yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah, like, I get that Sarah's, like, touching up her makeup or whatever, and Maya is sitting at, or it was Beth. Beth's sitting down and taking a pee. But what if Beth was, like, taking a, big shit? Like, that's just a really weird thing to have two people interacting in a open air kind of bathroom.
Yeah, and personally, for me and you, and I was about to lay one down, I mean, it is what it is, Grant. I mean, you got...
Oh. You were talking about taking shit. I thought you were talking about jerking off over this.
Jesus,
like,
no.
what?
I'm talking about taking, like, a massive shit. I'm just gonna let it happen, Grant.
Well, yeah, but, a guy's bathroom, if somebody's taking massive shit, you're just out of there. You're not going in.
Yeah, that's true. Usually.
Yeah, but either way, so the girls are in the bathroom.
Girls in the bathroom. Nick and Gordon are talking about, what their plan is. They're talking about, oh, well, we got to get, it's almost like the typical college, not really college, but the typical, like, I would say these teenagers about a party, like, oh, well,
Yeah.
we got to get everyone drunk, this and that, or, man, I really want to sleep with this girl, and that's kind of what their plan is, They're like, okay, so here's what we're going to have to do. To where, now tell me if tell me if I'm jumping ahead of myself, but they go to pay, to which we see the clerk is looking at a little monitor, and it's a camera in the girl's bathroom, so he's just kind of watching it while Nick and Gordon are like, well, what you watching there, Buster?
what you watching there, guy? Wow.
We got to pay for this stuff, and the guy kind of looks all annoyed and turns off his screen.
It was such a long wait time because
Yeah.
they're like, "What you watching there?" And he just eyes focused on the TV
Yeah.
screen, and then they like go to kind of lean in to try to see, and he turns it off real quick. And they're like, "Okay, that's creepy. I'm gonna let you pay. I'm gonna be outside."
Yep.
Yeah, and then only one thing missed inside the bathroom with Sarah and Beth. Sarah is talking to Beth about how she can't believe that she is fucking Blake or whatever, and apparently Blake spray tains his dick.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the only other thing there. Okay,
So
so
basically,
we cut
we're
outside to
a disagreement.
Yes, we cut outside to a disagreement between Malik and some local.
That's awful sweet of you.
What's that? Nothing to help sit up front like that.
What the hell did you just say?
Lo siento, mamacita, no habla inglés. I could give you English lessons in the back of my truck if you like.
What? What? Say it again. Give me an English lesson.
Yeah, so basically we meet Dennis and Red, to where Red is this hillbilly with shark teeth, as you described him, and Dennis is almost reminds me of this pretty boy type guy.
Well, for first kind of glance, Red just looks to have like, standard redneck, like fucked up teeth from like Hills Have Eyes and like all that stuff. But later on, you see they sharpen them to be super sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Dennis, I don't know, he looks way too old, like to be with this cast.
He does, but when I said pretty boy, isn't that what kind of his backstory was? He was like this diver, this local diver, and all these girls would come and take his classes. And
Well, the way that Sarah described it is that everybody else in town looked like Red, so Dennis was the next best thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically they come outside to where now I don't know if you have that written down, but Red says something to Malik,
Yeah, so
or is Red eyeing Malik, and Malik says something to Red saying, "What the hell are you looking at?"
So what happens is like Red is like leaning against his truck, being all racist redneck type of stuff, like just kind of looking at him. Malik's like just getting off the phone. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" Something like that. And then he's like, I think he calls him a porch monkey, right?
I don't know if he says a term, yeah, but
Let me see if I wrote down what he said. Characters in harassing Malik. No, he just says some racial. I just said some racial stereotypes. So he says some racial stereotypes to Malik. Maya comes up and he like switches over to Mexican
yeah,
stereotypes.
I remember that.
He's like, "Oh, mamacita" or something like that.
To where Malik is about to beat the fuck out of
Yeah.
Red and Dennis.
And then Sarah comes to the rescue.
Sarah comes out, and this is when we find out that all these, well, not all these characters, but Dennis and Red know Sarah, as she is from that town.
Yeah, I don't know if she mentioned that she knew Red, but she at least knows Dennis.
Dennis, yeah.
And comes out, and Dennis is like, shocked to see her there.
Yep.
Which seems kind of weird considering the later points in the movie. Like, you think he would have planned that he would have seen her at this point.
Yeah.
But, hey, no matter what, he seems shocked to see her. They go ahead and have a brief little moment where she's like, "Yeah, I'm home, blah, blah, blah." They leave. Basically, she kind of just explains it away as locals, just being locals.
Yeah.
Which, I guess, but it's kind of still, shitty for her to not stick up for them and be like, "Hey, can you guys cut that shit out?"
It
or
is.
something like that.
It's a shitty situation. But regardless, we end up in one of my favorite parts here. We go to the boat scene, to where they get onto the boat, to where once they're kind of out and Sarah's piloting this boat, the sheriff lights them up.
So before that, another Nick Punk Out moment. I'm going to have like a animation spinning for a Nick Punk Out moment or something. But so they're driving the boat. Sarah turns to Nick and says, "Hey, you want to drive?" And he's like, yeah, sure. Gets up to go drive. She slams the throttle forward, so he like falls over. She's like, "Not yet," or "We don't have insurance," or something like that.
That's that part I was telling you. It reminded me of that Kodak Black video.
Oh yeah, I got to put that in here.
He's like, let me drive the boat.
Let me drive the boat.
And then so they're driving the boat, and then
To where the sheriff lights them up, and everyone's just kind of like, "Oh crap," and they're trying to put all their beer away. Like, "Oh shit, we can't be caught with this." To which we're telling, "All right, Sarah, let's just pull over." To where she punches it and tries to, I guess, escape the sheriff. What it seems like at first glance. To where everyone's kind of freaking out, going, "Oh, what the fuck is going on?" And then it pretty much cuts to this boat chase through the water, through the not the bayou, but I don't know what you would call
close
it.
enough to a bayou.
Yeah.
But basically, they just go ahead and have this boat chase where Sarah pulls into her family's dock, and then the sheriff immediately comes out doing the whole sheriff trying to act like a bad guy, but actually is quote unquote a good guy, at least at this moment.
Yeah, to where he seems all cool, going, "Oh, like look who it is, little Sarah Polsky."
Yep. And he's like, "Get out here, give me a hug." like all
Yeah.
this stuff, and shown that he's like a good friend of the family. He picks up her mom's mail and like sends it out and stuff. I don't really know because this is Sarah's like hometown where she grew up and stuff. Where are her parents? Like that's never really explained.
Dad, yeah, I don't think they explain that. They're
Yeah.
out or whatever, but yeah.
Maybe like vacationing or something. That's why the house is empty. But basically, the sheriff then grabs 2 beers for the road, slams one in front of them, and then gets back to work.
Yep.
And then they have a short little montage of them getting to their rooms. Beth and Maya going ahead and dancing while getting dressed. Once again, subvert the kind of, show tits thing in horror movies where they don't show it at all. They just show them from back. I think they may have done it to keep this movie PG-13 at one point. But they had all those curse words, so I don't think so.
Yeah.
But whatever. So they go ahead and now start chilling outside, playing by the pool. Malik and Nick are then getting ready to go ahead and go out on the boat and discuss that Sarah hasn't gone out on a date with anybody in over 3 years, which we learn the reason why, and that all the other kids have been worried about her, kind of discussing what's been her deal this whole time.
Yeah.
Yep. And then during this, Sarah and Sherman are playing by the beach, and she's tossing out some sticks or something, and he's bringing it back, and you see an underwater POV cam of something following Sherman, but it's just kind of a fake out, gets out of the water, no issues. And then it cuts to when they go ahead and have Beth and Gordon playing in the pool. Blake comes out, sprays his dick with some spray tan lotion or water
Yeah.
or something like that, and they basically just kind of hit on each other back and forth, with Gordon and Beth kind of becoming a couple a little bit. It doesn't really pay off at any point, but
Yeah, but
kinda.
it's kind of the girl he's going after.
Yeah, like he's going after her and she's not immediately rejecting him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then we go ahead and go to the wakeboarding scene. Do you want to go ahead and lay that one out?
Yeah, sure. So they go to the boat where Malik is on the wakeboard. They're flying to the water. He's doing all these cool tricks, all these little stunts, and which, by the way, I was super jealous. I've never done that before, and I really want to.
Have you ever gone skiing or anything like that?
Nope.
I think I did
I've
skiing.
gone tubing.
I've done skiing once when I was super young, and I get super seasick, so didn't turn out well. Yeah.
Oh, geez. But yeah, so basically, they're going through the water. Malik's doing all these all these cool stunts to where I guess at some point they turn around and start heading back. Then we find out the shark is after Malik, and you can kind of see the shark is, biting at the board? Or it's like hitting the board, and Malik's kind of looking back going, oh, shit.
Yeah, it's either like biting or just kind of tapping him.
Yeah, he knows that something is there.
Yeah,
to
and
where
he's like yelling at them.
Yeah,
like,
speed up, yeah.
But they're like, oh, he wants to go faster. Like, all excited about it. But ultimately,
Malik, so he ends up eating shit or falling off the board.
yeah, eat shit after getting touched.
Yeah. To where, they go, okay, he's off. Now everyone's looking, they're looking, okay, where's Malik? And his girlfriend Maya goes, oh, there he is. To where he's on the shore, or swimming to the shore. And this part got me, where he, stands up in front of Sarah. His right arm is gone. And he's just kind of like, oh, shit, or Sarah falls down.
Yeah, I love the reveal where he's swim towards shore. You don't see anything wrong right away. Slowly stands up. Sarah's sunning her eyes, looking up, and then you just see Malik slowly come into frame where he has a dead eye look on him.
Yeah.
And then he's reaching out with his arm that he actually has. He's like, Sarah, and then falls over.
Yeah. So initially, initially they rush over to give first aid, since of course Nick is in med school. Hey, Nick, you're the one that can help him. So now, he's gained a tourniquet on him. They're trying to, keep him elevated, make sure he doesn't lose too much blood. To where initially, everyone's like, fuck you, Nick, you ran him over. Like, what the fuck were you thinking? And he's like, no, I didn't. And, I just went around. To where...
Yeah, he's trying to kind of talk himself into it at first, being like, no, I didn't hit him. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Being like that. But then...
So where now he thinks, okay, we stop the bleeding here, or for the most part, we need to go and get his arm to possibly get it back. So Nick...
Yeah, of course this isn't said verbally, though. He just kind of...
He just kind of gets up...
shoots up and...
runs to get the arm. So he dives into the water, finds the arm, to where now finally we see a shot of the shark.
Yeah.
of, I think it was like a bull shark or something.
Yeah,
little
it's
bull shark.
a smaller shark, which is said to be a bull shark later on.
Yeah.
But essentially, he finds the arm, races back to the pier, shoots up the ladder, and the bull shark tears the ladder off.
Yep.
Which usually in like a horror movie they would say like that's no normal shark. Like sharks can't do that. But I guess in this case they're all just normal sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But essentially, after that, now they have the arm. They get it on ice. They say he has about, was it 3 hours to go ahead and get it back and
Yep.
reattached? And then they say, how far away is the nearest hospital? 3 hours.
Yep.
So they get everybody into the boat, Sarah, Nick, Maya, and Malik. But they tell everybody else to wait because they don't want any more else holding them down. But
Yep.
they need those main people. And then as they're going away, you see Malik's blood from his, cut off arm dripping in the water.
Into the drain, yeah, out of the boat.
And you see some sharks following.
So of course, yeah, as they're going, a bull shark. It was the same bull shark that's following them. To where as they're going down, I guess the lake, Maya ends up falling out.
Yeah, essentially same thing happens. Somehow the shark hits the boat and causes her to get flung off. Nick, super quick thinking, grabs a raft, throws it to her. She grabs on, tells Sarah to gun it because, of course, she can't get back in time, so might as well just try to escape as fast as they can. But ultimately, Maya can't hold on. She gets hit by a shark, dragged off, and presumed dead. We never see anything, but presumed dead.
Presumed dead, yeah.
Yeah. And then, of
To where
course,
now, of course, which I thought this was a big BS part of the movie, to where now the throttle's jammed and the steering's jammed. I'm like,
so for that, what I think they're trying to say is that because the boat got hit by the shark. So what I think they're saying is that the engine, that the propeller system, the shark hit, because that's where everything's controlled. So both the steering and the throttle control got damaged during that. And when they turned around to go back for Maya, they got stuck in that position, so they weren't able to do anything.
yeah,
It made sense.
it's a stretch.
And it made sense to me that it was just all due to the shark's damage.
I'm no maritime expert, but if that's how it works, great. If not, shame on you and shame on them.
Hey, I'm no maritime expert or boat expert, as some people might say. It's a maritime law or whatever you're going for.
I don't know what I'm saying, man. Boats, water. I'm not a big boat guy. But anyways,
So, we just had a catastrophic recording failure. The recorder that I used ran out of batteries. So
bastard.
hopefully we'll pick up where we left off. But of course, if we don't, then I'll put some editing mistake notes in there. But essentially, just go ahead and pick up where I think we left off. They had just crashed the boat, and it has gone ahead and blown up. So now they have gone ahead and put Malik back into the house, got him all stabilized, and here is where we have Blake going outside to go ahead and gain the attraction of Dennis and Red.
Yeah, so at this point, Blake goes outside. We see our two antagonists. See, I almost forgot that word. It's been forever since.
Since this happened.
Well, no, I was gonna say since taking English in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Protagonist, antagonist, whatever. Our two bad guys, Dennis and Red, to where Blake. God, I can't. Why? What is so hard about the name Blake?
He looks like a Blake.
I don't know. I keep thinking like. Anyways, I'm sorry. So here we are at our next part, to where Blake goes outside to confront our two antagonists, Dennis and Red. To where Blake points a gun at Red. Oh my God. And Red almost does this move where he just not even really fights it off him, just almost rips it off his hand and points it at him.
Yeah, he does like that old school YouTube thing where that karate guy was like showing you how to quickly disarm somebody, where you just double smack the gun and then you have it in your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he goes ahead and does that, points it at Blake. Of course, he already fired both shots. It's a double barrel shotgun. Doesn't make sense. We already went over this. Sorry if I'm rushing through it. But essentially now at this point, they go ahead and take them inside to check on Malik. Red, acting pretty good. He goes ahead and says, "Oh boy, this is like fucked up. We got to get that boy out of here," or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Nick says he can't be moved right now. He's in too unstable condition. We have to go ahead and, have you guys travel and get medevac out here.
Yeah. So where Dennis, he actually says, well, we need to go to, I think he said some hospital like St. John's, to where they have actual orthopedic surgeons that can be here in 2 hours. So now we think, okay, these guys are good guys. We don't think they're scumbags like they were earlier.
Yeah, like regardless of what happened earlier, now they're stepping up to the plate.
Yeah. So now he says, okay, we're going to be going on the boat. Does anyone want to come with? To where Beth and Gordon go onto the boat saying, hey, Beth really wants to go. Gordon's just going because Beth is going. He goes, hey, I need to keep an eye on her,
Yeah,
keep her
because
safe.
earlier in the house, Beth kind of had a freak out where she started blaming Sarah, saying this is all your fault. You dragged us out here, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
But of course, now she's just like, I just want to get the fuck out of here. And of course, Gordon doesn't trust these guys and wants to keep her safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now they leave and go out, I guess, into the middle of the lake, off somewhere. So now we kind of start figuring out, okay, something is up because now Red is being weird, like you said earlier, shining a flashlight at her chest. And they have all this computer equipment on board.
Yep.
So
And
now,
then before we go ahead and get to the point where they, kind of do that, to stick with the editing that way, it's easier for me. I'm sorry. We go ahead and shoot back over to inside the house where Blake and Malik are sitting there talking, and Blake is saying, "Don't worry, buddy. We'll get you back up on the football field," like all that stuff. He's like, "I don't care about that. I'm just, glad I'm still alive to propose to Maya." Where Maya earlier, yikes, buddy, she's
yeah,
dead.
to where now Blake, I guess, which I'm surprised he did, but he spilled the beans. Or I guess he didn't really spill the beans. He just kind of stayed quiet.
He was just like, "I'm so sorry, buddy," or
Yeah.
something like that. And of course, he finds out that she's dead.
Where's she at? Where is she?
She's,
She what?
she's...
She what? She what? Look at me, Blake! Where's Maya?
So sorry.
Oh.
And then outside, Sarah and Nick are talking about why she doesn't like Dennis, why she left this town, what happened. Just a brief rundown. She went ahead and was his girlfriend. He was the diving instructor to all the rich girls in the kind of area. During their relationship, she broke up with him. They still continued their diving. Sarah went ahead and dived underwater. Her regulator wasn't working. She decided, hey, I need to share air with Dennis. That way we can both get back up. He floated away, said, fuck you, deal with it yourself. Basically tried to kill her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she shoots back up to the front, gets in the boat, hops in, throttle up. He's at the back. Propeller smashes his face open.
Yeah.
And then she leaves for 3 years, and now we're here.
Yeah.
Yep. And then back over to the boat.
Back over to the boat. Now we have the part where I guess we kind of start piecing things together of what's going on, to where Dennis has a gun and now he's telling Gordon to get in the water. And also a big piece of information that we kind of left out earlier was they had this box that I guess sends off vibrations to where the sharks don't get near it.
Yep.
To
Yeah.
where
Like
Red turns it off and now they're like,
it plays like a dog whistle to sharks to keep them away.
yeah. So now he turns that off, and then of course now they stop, and both characters going, hey, why are we stopping here? And that's when Dennis tells Gordon, all right, get out of the boat. And he doesn't get out of the boat, disagrees, I don't want to get out of the boat, to where he gets shot in the shoulder and ends up going to the water, to where this leads into the biggest bullshit part, I thought, was how Gordon swims over to this tree that is planted in the water, I guess is growing out of the water, tries to jump up and tries to climb it, can't climb it. At this point, a shark jumps through the water almost like a dolphin, grabs him and brings him down and, of course, kills him.
Yep. And in the lost audio recording, I explained how the sharks, that just as a cursory research thing that I did for them, don't really do that. They barely come out of the water to grab something that's a tiny bit above, but they can't really jump that high.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it goes ahead and jumps back over to Nick, who is watching Malik standing in a shallow pool of water. Basically, he has a spear in his one arm and is looking out, just dead-eyed over the water, and saying, "I gotta kill the shark, man. Took one
Yeah.
of mine. I gotta take one of theirs."
Yep. Of course, Nick is going, hey, man, no, like, this is stupid. Let's just get you in. But Malik's not having any part of that. He's going, hey, man, I got to kill this thing. Now he's in the water. We see a hammerhead, so now we're thinking, okay, this isn't the same shark right away.
Yeah, immediately as the audience, we recognize that.
Yeah.
But of course, Malik, he's only had his arm torn off, and he hasn't seen it since. That's it.
Yeah. So basically, we get to the part where they fight the shark, Nick and Malik. Not so much Nick. I guess Nick is in the water, but Malik ends up going underwater with the shark, stabbing it and killing it. They bring it onto the shore, and now we see it's a hammerhead to where Nick goes, that's not the same shark that I saw earlier.
Yep. Yeah, and then with this, directly afterwards, Nick goes ahead and says, he's now got a missing, or no, sorry, Blake. I keep on fucking up his name as well. So Blake goes ahead and says he's now got his arm torn off and all these hammerhead bites. I need to get him out of here. How fast is your wave runner?
Yeah.
Which is a jet ski.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, at that point, Blake just ties Malik to the back, says, I'm going to get him out of here. You guys stay here and chill out the house.
Yeah.
And then we cut back over to the boat where...
To where Dennis and Red are, they don't really tell her why they're doing it, but they're in a part where now Red is setting up this computer equipment, or sorry, I guess Dennis is setting up the computer equipment.
No, Red is.
That bastard. Red was the dumb one, so I assumed he wasn't setting it up. But Red, yeah, is setting up the computer equipment to where now we're looking at these sharks, and these little cookie cutter sharks are swimming in this net. So their plan, obviously, is they're going to throw Beth in there to get eaten. But, of course, she doesn't want to do that, ends up stabbing Red in the chest with a pocket knife that she took off him earlier. Of course, her attempt was futile, didn't work. Gets thrown into the water with the cookie cutter sharks. And, of course, like I explained in our lost audio file, probably one of the worst ways to die in the movie. Getting little pieces of skin and chunks of you just nibbled off.
Yeah, and like towards the end where you see her, basically die due to blood loss or whatever happens to her, you see like the sharks like eating into her, like, going deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Which would just be horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, directly after that, during, you also see Red filming it during the portion directly to the computer. He has like a GoPro type of setup. And here's where we kind of get the feeling that something weird is happening. Like they're doing some shady shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we have the part where Blake, see, I almost forgot his name again. Blake is driving Malik, and now we see a bunch of fins coming out of the water, chasing after them, to where Malik, I guess, makes the ultimate sacrifice, unhooks himself from Blake, and says, hey, Blake, I ain't taking you with me. Jumps into the water, and, of course, is eaten by all the sharks in the water. To where Blake, instead of just making his getaway, kind of turns around, goes, no, Malik. Then, now, does he do a 360 or like a 180? He doesn't go back toward the water, toward the house. He actually does go toward open water.
Yeah, it goes towards open water.
Goes to open water to where a shark leaps out of the water again, grabs Blake, and bites him in half.
Chomps them in half.
Yeah.
Right there. So essentially after that, now Sarah and Nick, they're the last people alive. They go ahead and gain a visitor in the form of a sheriff. The sheriff comes and they're like, oh good, Dennis and Red got, to the medevac place. You're here to help, all that stuff. He's like, no, what the fuck's going on? Like, I just saw you guys were having a bonfire and, wanted to come by and see what's going on.
Of course, sees the hammerhead shark in the sand, and what the hell is that?
It's like, what kind of fucking party are these kids having? So essentially after that, they go into the house off screen, or at least I didn't see it. The sheriff feeds Nick some soup out of his thermos that is poisoned to put him to sleep. So he passes out. Him and Sarah go ahead and set him up on a couch. And then during that process, he tells Sarah to go get like an ice pack or headache pills or something
A
of
cold
that
towel
nature.
to bring him back.
Yeah, cold towel. Or I think he says something like weird, like, "Oh, get him this, this, and this, and we'll bring this boy back to life," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's sleeping just like a little baby. All the stress probably just got to him. Hey, Sarah Bear, why don't you do him a favor and go get a really cold towel, and we'll bring this boy back to life.
And she goes to get it, overhears on the radio, Red is calling and saying, hey, do you have that bitch yet? Like, we gotta kill her and stuff like that. And so she grabs a kitchen knife, goes to kill the sheriff. Just before, though, Dennis comes out of nowhere, shoots her with a trank gun. She goes down.
Yeah.
Perfect. So now both our remaining protagonists are now separated into two separate areas. Sarah is on the boat with Dennis and inside of a kind of like a fishing shed. I'm not sure if it's the one attached to the house or not, or where it is. But essentially inside the shed, the sheriff and the sheriff and Nick are sitting there while Nick is tied to a chair that's suspended above a pool full of sharks.
Yeah. So at this point, the sheriff starts explaining to Nick and I guess to the audience what exactly is going on. He asks Nick, what is the highest viewed, as you explained best in the last one, the highest viewed show, highest rated show
Yeah,
with
he
20
says-
million viewers.
Yeah, he's like, what show every single year has consistently high views, 20 million viewers, like all this stuff? He's like, Shark Week. That's right. So now he explains his business idea, which is to release a bunch of sharks into a lake, kill people, film it, and then go ahead and sell it on the internet.
Basically, it's people who love Shark Week but want to see the good stuff,
Yep.
the dark web stuff, as I
So-
called it.
As in our lost audio file, just to explain again, their profit plan is to film people getting killed by sharks. Step 2 is question mark, and number 3 is profit.
It's foolproof.
Yep, foolproof. Can't get fucked up there. But then, as I explained earlier, kind of suspension of disbelief is that these kind of redneck hillbillies in this town have gained the knowledge necessary to both film and edit these videos and distribute them on the dark web, supposedly, because of course you can't sell murder videos just anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they go ahead and say this is why they're doing it. Of course, Dennis has a slightly different motivation, which is that he wanted to kill Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we have Nick being dunked into the water, as you explained, and being brought back out. So now, as the sheriff is kind of toying with him, saying, well, what music do you want to listen to when you die? Nick is actually using a lighter behind his back to go ahead and burn through his plastic restraints.
If there's something you'd rather listen to while you're dying, the sheriff takes requests.
Sound like some Guns N' Roses.
What was that?
Guns N' Roses, Sheriff.
I know what you're trying to do. You're making me love you. All right. It's working. Yeah.
And there was a part where, I guess it wasn't really a scuffle, where the sheriff knocked over some gasoline onto the wood of the deck, to where once Nick has his hands free, throws the lighter onto the deck, ends up igniting the sheriff since he's standing right in the gas. He falls into the water to where Nick, of course, escapes his chair that he's in, closes the door or the hatch, and the sheriff gets eaten, which
Yep.
is a fitting end for him. But
And of course, just before the sheriff is eaten, when he asks about the music, he says, so what music do you want to listen to when you die? Nick's like, Guns N' Roses. He's like, trying to make me like you? Because it's working.
shit.
And then, of course, after Nick goes ahead and escapes all that, he is slightly cut on his leg. That's about the extent of his injuries.
Yeah, but he sees the boat out.
Correct. Just
Yeah.
off the dock, he sees the boat and recognizes that's Red and Dennis's boat. Sarah must be on there. I'm going to go
And
save her.
swims over, yeah.
Yeah.
So, of course, once we get there, we pass the part where, of course, Sarah tries to play Dennis, hey, I've always loved you, and, of course, tries to steal his gun. He steals it back, which that part infuriated me because I was like, just freaking shoot him.
And of course,
we
good
know
old
in these-
Sherman.
Oh, yeah, and, of course, Sherman. I almost forgot. Poor Sherman, the lab, gets thrown into the water, which I thought right there he'd be eaten, but ends up, I guess, swimming off somewhere to safety.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
As far as we know, it's kind of thought of that he just kind of treaded water this whole time and just was ignored by the sharks.
Yeah.
Which, bullshit, but
Guess we'll
we'll
forget
take
about
it.
that detail.
Yeah.
To where, okay, so now as they're about to lower Sarah into the water, Nick takes Red hostage with the train gun, and of course, Dennis, being the mastermind villain, doesn't care, ends up throwing a knife and killing Red or hitting him in the chest so he falls into the water. A fight ensues now to where Sarah, I guess, is Oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. To where Dennis is thrown into the water. He releases the cage or the pin that's holding the cage to where they both go into the water. Now, of course, the fight continues underwater where Nick, Dennis, and Sarah are down there. The great white shark is shown right in the background. So now at this point, Sarah ends up holding Dennis, I guess by his head or something, or by his hair.
I think just by his arm.
Is it by his arm? I thought she was like holding him by his head, and that's why he kind of lets go of Nick. To where the great white swoops down and kills Dennis in the crossfire.
Yep, but of course, it's a very short relief period because now the Great White is going after Sarah.
Yeah. So as the great white is chewing through the cage, which I still don't think is a thing, right?
Nope.
Great whites don't just.
Yeah, it's completely made of steel. It's not gonna break like that.
So
but,
as
yeah.
the great white is chewing through the cage, trying to eat Sarah, Nick ends up going up to the top to where Sherman has a freaking air gun in his mouth, gives it to Nick, swoops down, blows the head off the shark, and saves Sarah and gives her CPR up top.
Yep, yeah, brings her up top, gives her CPR. She wakes up and then goes ahead and kisses Nick. So it's kind of the happy ending as we see the girl, the dog, and the main guy are all safe. Of course, all the other friends and kids have all died.
Yeah.
Oh, and then, of course, at the very end, CGI shark jumps out to lead us into the credits.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as I just finished this with our last audio file, we kind of raced through that last part of the movie. I'll be completely honest. To be honest, we weren't very excited about having to come back and.
I was gonna say it felt raced, but if you think about it, the ending was almost exactly how I described it. I mean, it really was just this fight. The Great White attacks them.
No, I just meant through the whole back half of the movie.
Oh, okay. I was about to say the ending was pretty accurate in my opinion.
Yeah, the ending we went through perfectly. It's just after the boat being dragged into the gas station and blown up, we had to redo everything past that point. So if it seems a little bit rushed, that's why. Of course, just to go into our kind of end, discussion there, both of us thought this movie was better than what it was originally rated as, which was 4 out of 10 on IMDb, 19% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 22% on Metacritic. Both of us think it's better than that, but me, a lot better.
Yeah, so first of all, I guess I'll give mine first this time. I gave mine a 6 out of 10. Just because, sure, I agreed that, to me, parts looked very low budget, but the fact that, they did have a... See, now it sounds like I'm kissing ass here, because now you're telling me who the cast was, and I'm like, oh, wait, I know those guys. They had a pretty good cast. They made some money from the box office, which I was surprised about. I thought something like this would have took a loss, but now, like I said, now I just sound like an asshole, being cynical about this movie. But after watching it, I do agree with you. It was very good. It wasn't, like we were using a comparison of Jaws. It wasn't Jaws, but definitely I would go a couple notches under Jaws, to which, for me, a 6 out of 10 seems fair.
Yep, yeah, and definitely for you, for how you perceive it. For me, it holds a bit of memories. This is one that I've watched when it came out on DVD. It was one that I liked then, I like now. Me personally, I really like this movie. It's an 8 out of 10 on my scale. I'll just jump straight to the rating. I think the cast was great for the time period. All of these people went on to do bigger and better things. Sarah Paxton, of course, I think either just previous to this or just after this, remade Last House on the Left, which is a iconic horror movie. She went ahead and did Aquamarine, a bunch of kid movies, stuff like that, to kind of round out her career. As of right now, not too much. Kind of the same for all of them. Mm-hmm. Weirdly enough, the biggest star is one who's not a main character, Joel David Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Joel David Moore, of course, Avatar, all these horror movies, Hatchet,
Dodgeball, baby.
Dodgeball. He's the person with the biggest career and probably the brightest future out of this cast.
Yeah.
Yeah. But of course, I thought the writing was great. It subverted a lot of horror movie tropes where, it's all about just naked college girls and gore and stuff like this. Throughout this entire movie, the worst that you see for gore is the arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything else is, either on a shitty TV screen for like the cookie cutter shark scenario or just not that bad. Yeah. But with that, just kind of finish it up. Me, 8 out of 10. You, 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
both of us think it was rated way too low. But with that, it's something to where I always recommend go ahead, watch for yourself. It's included with Netflix. Just sign up for a Netflix subscription, order it on Amazon, whatever you want to do. Just watch it. It's a really quick watch, as we were saying in our Lost audio. It's only an hour and 20 minutes, and it speeds up a lot after the first 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with that, definitely thank you guys so much for watching. Continue to comment, leave some recommendations for movies in the future, because it's a lot easier to get some recommendations on what to watch than have to go into the memory banks to find one that we like.
Yep.
Great. But with that, definitely thank you guys so much, and have a great rest of your day.